Happy Wednesday.
Hello there.
Back at it again. How we doing?
Oh yeah.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Coming up on a July 4th weekend.
That's right. Yeah. Pretty amazing, right?
No plans? Anybody got plans? Anything special?
No, nothing crazy. The usual kind of 4th of July festivities, I guess, barbecuing and whatnot. So exciting stuff. And we get to watch Brad eat dinner. Nice. There we go. Okay.
I warned Zach.
I heard you. The ramen.
Yeah.
Let's see what should we go with here.
You don't want me to get hangry mid-show.
We got two, right? We got two to go with here. Which one should we go? Let's take up a poll. The Hudson whiskey.
Hudson's great.
This is from Richmond, Virginia reservoir, small batch.
Nice.
Ooh.
So I'm kind of tempted. I want to try this one. I think I want to try
Yeah,
both.
I've had a Hudson before. Hudson's awesome.
I'm gonna go with this reservoir. Then how about that? Let's do that.
Yep.
This one right here.
I'm going with the glyph again, but this time I'm going to go neat and use these little stone,
Oh,
Your marbles. You have no
little
marbles.
stone ice cubes.
this is a
I got the Wyoming whiskey.
nice. This is a wax top here, so it's not open.
Well, let's start it off with the toast here.
Yes, sir. How do I get? Let me see. There we go. I have a
Got some
wax
pretty
top.
good whiskey going around.
I know, right? We're kind of up in the game.
We started with kind of what we had in the closet.
I know, yeah. Now we're starting to kind of get it. Let's see if I get this cork out. Oh my gosh. This is very difficult. Why is it so hard? There we go. Ooh, that smells good. Are you waiting on me?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay, let's see. Right there. There you go. Cheers, guys.
Yours.
Cheers to another week, right? Another
Cheers
week.
to at least one more show after this.
Yeah, right? There we go. That's good. Ooh, that's good. I like that.
Now, what's that called again? Reservoir?
Reservoir. Reservoir.
Nice.
Richmond, Virginia.
I bet you guys have a lot of good whiskey spots in Virginia.
Okay, this is 100 proof. This will stank good.
You guys ever
No.
been to a distillery before?
I was at one actually last weekend.
Which one?
It's called what was it called? They make bare knuckle is the spirit.
yeah.
We did actually. They do bourbon, whiskey, bourbon, and gin. I think I was talking about this last week, right? With gin, and that was very interesting. Gin, I was not a big fan of, but it was good. But anyways,
Yeah,
Happy-
gin's hard.
so what's new in the world these days?
Well, you guys want? How about we give a just a tip on Whiskey Wednesday?
Ooh, are you DJing too, Zach?
I guess we're DJing.
And DJ Zach Schaefer.
Well,
We're
Eric,
still-
Eric got in. He's got the tools now. He figured
I
it out.
upped the volume there to get us a little bit.
Oh, that's
maybe two.
Eric on DJ.
Yeah.
DJ
Slider.
Easy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good for fade ins and fade outs. Like fade in, segue.
Okay, so just real quick, we'll do a nice little tip for our main target audience, of course, is small business owners, entrepreneurs, anyone who's looking to continue to expand their social media, their marketing strategies. And a real simple strategy that we came across today was many people don't understand this or realize it, but Instagram Reels is one of the most popular ways to post or to push your content to your audience. And actually, it's funny because I think they said 87% of Gen Zers look at TikTok and Reels as the exact same thing. It doesn't make a difference. But Reels has 22% more reach than your average video post. Definitely want to do these little short video clips. And what's really cool about it is that you can also add little captions, you can add stickers, but you can also add music. And trending music is one of the best ways to reach a wider audience. So the one caveat though is that if you're a professional account, a lot of people can't. You get really access to lower tier music, if you will, put it in a nice way. Lounge music.
It probably has to do with copyright issues. They're gonna those music labels and artists are only going to allow the music to be used for personal use, right? It's not because technically a business is reselling their services, or it's a business tool, right? So it's commercial use, and they won't allow you license. You're probably getting stock audio that they have contracted to allow the use of. That's very interesting. So.
Yeah, so case in point, we're a marketing media agency, but there's a little nice trick around this. You edit your profile, and again, this is professional accounts. I believe private accounts, you get access to it anyways. So you edit your profile, and where it asks you what category you are, you find entrepreneur, select entrepreneur, click done. Then go to your post, and you should have access to all the different popular music trends. And then there's even stuff of Jordan Peterson and some of his talks, and I'm sure there's a lot of other influential people, where you can put some really cool content and videos together with that background music. So that is our Whiskey Wednesday tip of the day. DM us or message us if you're lost or get confused. We have no problem helping you out with that one. So. Yeah, that's it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Good little tip. There you go. Ryan's changed up the backgrounds there.
Yeah. I like the brick wall.
Brick.
Yeah. Cool. So, all right, should we get in some articles?
Yeah, let's kind of see what the world's handing us this week, and see if we got any insight on any of those things. Where do we go here?
You guys like when you want me to share, right?
Hey, go ahead.
Okay. Boom, boom.
Man, that's good.
First one, I know, Eric, we want to talk about, since I just figured this was a July 4th article.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
French's wants to give, ketchup popsicles this summer.
Just sounds gross, though.
Sounds awful.
Yeah.
Any takers out for
I think like anything, it's a marketing tool, right? They're just doing it as a way to kind of get,
It's like the Bud Light charcoal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might get used though.
Yeah, I don't even know how you would really use it,
Yeah, interesting.
Made of 100%, it's a Canadian thing. So 100% Canadian tomato, only sweetened with organic cane sugar. So it's like, they're touting like the kind of the quality of the ingredients and that kind of stuff. So
would you try one at a July, if somebody came up to you 4th of July and said, hey, I have a ketchup popsicle. You want one? Or are you passing?
No way.
Pass. What about a mustard popsicle?
No way. What condiment popsicle would you want?
What popsicle would I want?
Condiment popsicle.
Condiment popsicle. Ooh.
I'd go with pickle, like a frozen. I could do a frozen pickle, maybe. Honestly,
how does that not exist?
They probably do. I think they do, but my point is like this is saying that it's going to be available at pop-ups in Vancouver, Toronto, and Leamington, Canada, till June 24th. So it's just kind of a gimmick, but it's just interesting that that would be a fun kind of thing.
They're not
funny
sold
to
out
give them
like
to kids as a joke. Hey, you guys want a popsicle? Yeah.
Well, you know what it reminds me of is you remember the jelly beans that were disgusting?
Popsicle, exactly.
Yeah. Do you remember the jelly beans where you could get Bart jelly beans and Booger jelly beans?
It's just gross. I mean,
Same
kids
concept.
might find it fascinating, but it certainly is not something that I wouldn't expect it to take the place of anything. But again, interesting. Like we talked about this with Macy's last week, and and these are things that people are doing just to cut through the clutter. The beer, charcoal. You know what I mean? Like you got to do stuff like this. This is part of any good marketing kind of concept, which is what's gonna get people to stop and talk about it. Yeah, cut through the clutter. Exactly. So that's
I believe that this is really the next phase going into a different economy, if you will, right? Collaborations, partnerships are going to be huge for companies to tap into new audiences. We talk about this every day with our clients. So, so a lot of people say not 1,100, but he meant this was a typo, 11,000. So let me ask you.
I think it was, total typo.
I think it was a typo. Because I've heard 11,000 a couple times. I believe Vegas Dave, he's the guy that like famously predicted like 2 Super Bowl champions just like out of nowhere. But I believe 11,000 is the bottom where a lot of people have said. Where some people said 15,000. Let's say you got 150 grand in the bank to invest. Are you buying at 15,000? Are you buying higher? Are you buying now, or do you believe that there's an 11,000?
Well, let me ask you this: why not 1,100? Right? And my point, my thought on that is, we're going into what ultimately will be, a challenging economic time. I think for on the grand scheme of things. So, here's a technology that ultimately is kind of or a concept, I should say, that's kind of frivolous to a certain extent when you really look at needs, like basic human needs, kind of, right, for survival.
Yep.
So is it unwarranted to think that there's a potential where the value of it just becomes really hammered until they can kind of sort out what the long-term purpose of it is, right? And like it's kind of like the dawn is darkest before, or what is it? The night is darkest before the dawn, kind of thing, right? Where it's like until they really, until we figure out really what the purpose of it is and what the long term play on it is and value, is it potential to go even lower than that? I don't know.
Well, if Bitcoin goes to 1,100, what does the U.S. dollar go to?
Well, it's all relevant. Yeah, I mean that's potential too. I'm just saying that potential exists as well. So that's why it's like, why can't it go below that? And like that 11,000 is like, I would be curious to see what the basis on that arbitrary, is it arbitrary, or is there a basis behind why they think 11,000? What does that correlate to? As you said, is there some sort of other financial indicator that's saying we can track these other things? So we're tracking that this, goes, equates to that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But it's just that's very,
that's interesting stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It just shows you how volatile, I guess, that whole space is, and that's just the financial backing for all these tools too. So it's not even talking about the technology components in terms of NFTs and what the use of the code and all that stuff is going to be. This is just the financial value of that currency.
Yeah. Well, I did also read that the Fed's looking to devalue the dollar as well. So I think, I kind of still pose the question: what's the U.S. dollar going to go to? And would you be more? Let's say if you had to invest 100, would you invest it in Bitcoin? Or would you invest it in something else? Would you invest it in?
Okay, so that's actually an interesting, bigger question, I think, which is,
would you invest in real estate right now?
The dollar or crypto, right? And you say, well, if the dollar really, I'm trying to have a hard time seeing a situation where the dollar that crypto would perform better than the dollar ever. You know what I mean? I don't even know in the most dire of situations where the dollar tanked that people will be like, well, my computer's doing great and I'm just going to go and buy some crypto. And it's like, I feel like there'd be bigger fears at play that will be like, well, if the U.S. can't keep its currency solid, like there are bigger concerns in the world. And I don't know that crypto is, like I feel like it's going to affect global markets. So therefore there's no kind of, how would I say, backdoor, it's not like other governments are going to be like, well, we're all doing great, so the currency translates well to us. You know what I mean? If the American dollar dumps, everyone else is going to take a dump.
Yeah.
So does crypto miraculously have some sort of value beyond that, where it's like, well, I'm more concerned with the fact that the government of the United States can't, meet its obligations, therefore the dollar value is dropped and blah blah blah. Again, someone much smarter than me could obviously give insight on that. I'm not an economist.
But back to the question. That's a good question. If you had $150,000 to invest right now, but
You're going to either lose it,
liquid,
you're
you
gonna
had to invest it. What would you do with it? Buy a bunch of Teslas?
would you go?
Is that on the list? And then calling for bankruptcy too is a potential.
Would you go Apple? Apple's at.
Well, would it going to be stocks, right? Well, that's the question. Would it be? I think yes.
Well, yeah. Would it be stocks? Would it be crypto? Would it be real estate?
Real estate.
Where are you going?
Yeah.
Probably stocks, because if you wanted, I would say the best return on value. And normally I would say real estate, but at this point, real estate we know is kind of it's kind of towards the peak. I think it may continue to appreciate, but you're not going to see massive margin returns like you would on, say, a blue chip stock. I would probably look at it like a blue chip stock that's underperforming right now because of the global scene, right? That is, look, when all ships rise, it's going to continue to rise. It's pretty, it's floating because it's at the level of what's happening currently, right? Versus it's not a lot of volatility. It should be performing much better, but because of what's happening, it's not, right? And I don't know what, we're not a trading, we're not, like I said, we're not traders, we're not, financial analysts or anything like that.
No stretch. No.
But I would probably say something like that would be a safer bet, even than crypto. Crypto is still just too volatile. Not to say it's not worth buying at a low point, but I don't think we know what the
Well, imagine if you put it into 150,000 into it right now, and then it became 1,100. It hit 11.
But here's the other question: what was it trading at today? Bitcoin?
Probably right around 20, I think.
Is that what it is?
Let me look.
Off of what, 60 at a high or something like that was last year?
ETH was at 75.
70. ETH is at 1,000, something like that.
Yeah.
20,000. 20,000 Bitcoins at 20,000. So
down 40.
So if you bought 100, this is the other riddle. If you bought $150,000 worth of Bitcoin right now, okay, if it was money that you had and you had to spend, what's the risk reward, right? So the risk is you lose it, right? All of it, 150 grand.
Yeah.
But if it doubles in value, I guess you'd have to hope for it in order to leverage, to hedge that bet. You'd want it to be like at least double in the value. So would it go up to 40 again? Was it potential to go up to 60 or higher or anything like that again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So then maybe that's worth the risk, right? Even if it goes lower for a little while, you're looking at what the long-term potential is. Do you think long-term it's going to go? It has more growth potential. I guess that's a good way to look at even the stocks too, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has much more of a potential upside. So I guess I just came kind of 360 or full circle on that. I wouldn't use.
I would go. I was 75, 75, or 50, 100. I would want.
Now you're being super strategic. We're just saying, like, in your gut, which one would, like, if you had that and you had to pick one, like, which one would you pick? I mean, would it be stocks? Which you think probably?
I said if you had 150,000, would you invest it into Bitcoin or stock? But I think, or what would you do with it?
Yeah. So the point is, it's all or nothing, right? So like, which of these three courses would you pick? And I guess the idea is that even though Bitcoin's more volatile, I think it has a brighter upside.
Yes,
of all.
I agree. Yeah, you have more ability to make more money.
Yeah, the potential for.
Would you invest in the plane, the cruise plane?
Great. Well, first of all, would you invest in the metaverse?
Tony, hush. Would I invest in the metaverse? Good question.
Yeah. Well, this,
No way.
I mean, this was great. This is an interesting. We don't have to talk about this one. Let's go to the plane. I love the plane one, Brad. I thought, yeah.
This is one. This is not really related. I mean, it's. I guess it's again. This is one of those think pieces, right? It's not really relevant to what we're.
I was just trying to change the subject.
I think you're right. No. Let's move on because we can go round and round in circles. Where's the damn?
Oh yeah.
There it is. There she is.
But I think the pricing muse was right on that one. Blue chip stock is probably safest at this point.
Well, it's safest.
Yeah, safest. But you said you have. The Randall says better odds just going to Vegas and put it all on black.
Oh yeah. Always bet on black.
Yeah, I agree with you, Randall. I think the comments are super late.
Yeah, I don't know why we're delayed.
For it.
Wait for it.
Would you be like I told you, Eric? I feel like this is like the Flying Titanic. You've seen this movie before.
Well, let's paint a picture. So a nuclear powered jumbo, like in essence, flying cruise ship. What's called like look at that thing, right? So, do you think there's a like what? Why? I guess is the why, right? I mean, I know it's just it's kind of a it's just kind of pie in the sky, but it just seems like that would just be with we were talking about earlier, like nuclear power. It's one thing to have it on a boat or a submarine where it's like at least kind of contained, but this baby's flying overhead. Like if it goes down somewhere, you have a major problem. You know what I mean? And who knows what kind of reactor it would have, but it's just fascinating that people come up with these ideas. Look at how many engines it's got.
Crazy.
I don't see that could fly.
Well, it's all it could. Why not? It's just thrust. That's the issue, right? It's thrust. It's all matter of the size. A paper airplane can fly, and a 747 can fly.
What kind of a runway do you need?
You need a lot of space. You have to get depends. Yeah, you have to. So I mean, again, I'm not an aeronautical engineer, but you would have to have enough length to get the amount of energy to get that thing off of the ground, right? So the frame of the airplane itself would have to hold up to the thrust of the engines.
There are people that would want to actually just live on it.
And just never. Technically, a nuclear reactor can power for how many years? 25 years?
I could see if there was some kind of
50 years. Every 50 years. When do they bring in the aircraft carriers for refueling? Is every 50 years they have to have the reactors of their fuel rods changed out?
That's not. Yeah, I'm not a nuclear engineer.
So let's take it a step further, right? Which is that obviously the speed of aircraft carriers are classified, but they say somewhere around 35 knots, right? So if it takes two nuclear reactors to push that boat at 35 knots through the water, how much power do you need to lift this thing? And granted, this is aluminum versus steel and all that kind of stuff, so I'm sure the weight displacement is different, but the amount of energy you need to lift this thing off the ground and keep pushing it. That's the problem. It's got to be constantly pushing the plane forward. Yeah. I just don't feel very safe with that, but okay. It's interesting. A big plane.
Would you pay to go on this thing?
No.
If I had a parachute, maybe.
Is this one of the worst ideas ever?
It's pretty much one of the worst ideas ever.
Yeah, well,
I could probably sell it though. I could probably sell it. So say a client comes to you and says, "Here's the fun part. Now let's full circle."
Yes.
A client comes to you and says, "I'm building a nuclear powered airplane. It's going to be super luxury, and it's going to fly, and it's going to be, in essence, think of it like luxury real estate, right? But in the air. So how do you sell it? How do you position it? And what channels do you use to help sell it, right? Now you'd have to sell the Flying Titanic. We'll call it the Flying Titanic. It'll sell itself. No, I won't. You would have a couple of challenges, right? You have to first of all get people safe. Like this is actually worth discussing because it actually shows kind of into the mindset of how even you would sell any product, right? This just happens to be fun one that we're talking about here, right? So it's kind of gives you a little bit of this is an extra little bit more tip for the week.
Little whiskey cigar tip.
You'd have to sell the freedom, the luxury, right? The kind of cutting edge nature of it. You have to first of all get them safe with the idea of nuclear power and being close to nuclear power and deal with all that issue in terms of is it safe to be sleeping next to? And then you have to use probably the fact that aircraft carriers have been doing it for 40 years now. At this point.
Believe it or not,
I mean, the trust, getting past the trust factor is huge. I don't know how you could do that.
Yeah, but your nuclear
Maybe
submarines.
a celebrity. We got to get a celebrity on this, like George Clooney up there.
but let me ask you this. Does it help to say that it's AI piloted?
Potentially.
No, not at all. That does not help with the trust factor.
No humans at all, just AI.
Potentially, but here's one thing I will say. It might help you with like doomsdayers, right? Instead of building bunkers in the ground, right? You could constantly be flying around in the air. No question is whether the air is toxic or not. I don't know. You could talk about filtration systems and all that kind of stuff.
I'm sure they thought that through. I mean, I would hope so to this point.
You'd be better off building a space station, I think, at that point, honestly.
Well, I think, no, think about it. I mean, it's literally you get a tour of the world, you get to fly around the world in luxury, right? I mean, there's malls, there's swimming
I
pools.
would rather go to a space station than this thing.
But so to say, like, so what? Yeah, wouldn't it make more sense to have
It
it?
seems way
Let
safer.
me ask you this: are we the demo for it? Because I think all three of us are out. Is this a Gen Zer thing?
No way. That's just dumb. Because
I don't know.
everybody wants to go to everybody would rather go to space.
Well, you have space tourism, right? Taking
It's
off, right?
safe.
So
It's almost safer,
it is more
Out
safe
of the
because you don't have
What is the
Have
demo?
gravitational pull of the Earth.
What's the demo?
rich people.
Randall,
like,
what's the demographic for this?
what's the demo on this, man?
I mean, 12 minutes later.
Retired people.
Well, sure. It's like
Maybe
the
it's the
cruise. Like,
retired community, and once you turn a certain age, you fly up there.
Yeah.
fly off into the sunset, man. Always flying into the sunset. That's how I would sell it. That's the tagline. Always fly into the sunset.
I mean, I think you really need to push the amenities. You'd have to have some crazy cool things, and I'm sure they do. And you're gonna showcase those. I mean, where else can you tour the world and
No,
never
they
have
don't,
one? Is this the room? I mean, is this the bedroom? Looks like it.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, that's kind of cool. You get a view of the world.
Yeah, but you'd have to fly at such altitude. What would you really see? You'd be looking at the sky. All you would see is the sky.
Yeah, I
So
think
what's the
trust
point?
my influencers.
Wouldn't it be better to be as Brett said, in space, where at least you're looking down at the Earth, kind of as a like? But again, it would be dark there too. I don't, I think this is very interesting. But I like, the idea of how would you sell it? And I said that's it. You would have to sell it as like, safety, meaning like you're safer off of the Earth than on the Earth, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And just now what might make more sense is to operate as a hotel.
Yeah.
And as a cruise, not for living on there, but just for like, a quick vacation might be kind of cool. People might be more likely.
If you can't book a hotel wherever you're at, you just wait for the jumbo plane to fly over.
Well, here would be my thing is, are you still able? Like, okay, can you take that cruise and can I go to Dubai? And where are we landing? You know what I mean? So where my flight is way better because I have a pool. I get to walk around. I get to enjoy. I get to go back and forth instead of cramped in a seat for 16 hours. Is this the alternative? And so that you're still landing. You're not like tour. We don't have a tour. We don't know what the destination. We don't know what the journey is. But if that's the case, I'm a little bit more interested. If I have to take long world or go to Australia, which is an 18-hour flight.
That makes more sense, right? So
then you take the jumbo plane.
Yeah, where I'm in a wonderful, room.
You
I
go
don't-
play basketball.
Okay, so wait on, but see, I mean, this is obviously on steroids. but we're getting to like they're starting to adapt some of those things into current air travel, right? With these pods and the showers on like these, but the problem is it's all cost right effect, like whether or not it's actually, you know, you can afford it or not, right? Because you can afford to travel pretty nice. You can fly one of those, Boeing business jets, like like the Saudi like have that, that's a private. That's a pretty comfortable way to travel, and a lot of these amenities are in there, right?
Yeah.
This just seems like it's just a huge. I mean, it's one thing if it was like treated like a cruise or not, but I would say you'd have a heck of a time trying to sell people on it.
Yeah, because I think of a cruise. It's a cruise in there, and I'm thinking, okay, that's a 7-day or a 2-week cruise.
You make pretty good sense in terms of if you're going on like a 24-hour flight. Like, yeah, wouldn't that make sense to do it like that way? No, yeah. I just imagine this thing coming up and down the air. That seems crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Moving along. Okay, I know a lot of people got hit with the messenger chatbots. We actually had a couple clients hit us up on this one. The phishing scams. Make sure
it's such a good scam. Just so perfect.
Yeah. Anyone who refers to, hey, sweetie, your ad account has been shut down, though, probably not.
Replacing ads in the first place. Yeah. If you're,
Yeah.
You gotta always look at those URLs. You gotta always look at the URLs that you're at.
Yeah. And just to give everyone the context behind this, make sure you're checking the URLs. Assume that it's a scam first before anything else. Do not like Facebook would not say appeal now in Facebook Messenger, or even through an email. They would do that through your business manager. So just be aware this scam is going around. And then this was a really good one too. You can check the support page, and it's pretty much non-existent. So it'll show that it's active and they're very responsive, but it's not Facebook.
It's good. It's probably the most sophisticated phishing scam I've seen.
Yeah. We had a couple clients that were like
targeting a whole new platform.
Yeah. All right, next one up. There's the Amazon Prime, second Amazon Prime Day. We don't have to go into that.
So we have Amazon Prime. The retailers are upset because apparently the turnaround is they have to let. So anyways, to give context, Amazon Prime Day will be July. What does it say? July 12th or 17th, something like that.
Around there. Yeah, 22nd. Is it 22nd?
No, that's when they were. So that's what happens. The Prime Day will be in July, right? Middle July. They want to do. Amazon wants to do a second Prime Day in like September, October, November, in the fall, somewhere. Well, retailers are getting upset because, and I assume Amazon's logic is that look, we'll lose some sales on the July one because people will postpone, but ultimately by the time November rolls around, they'll be ready to buy a lot more again. So I think they're thinking that two of them will generate more gross revenue than one of them will, right? Knowing that by going to two, you're going to get less per Prime Day. Okay. Yeah. The retailers are getting upset because they have to let Amazon know what the Prime deals are for that October, November one, July 22nd. So they're like, well, we don't have enough time. They just announced this like what today, or like they're not even really fully announced it. They're just kind of, they're like, you give us a week then to make a decision on what those products are going to be 3 months from now. And then they have to have them like to the fulfillment centers by September something or other. So it's just like, I mean, I think it's more of a logistics thing that they just can't. It's hard to make it happen.
Yeah.
Short term, right? Short term notice.
Yeah, and I think it's because they had such a soft second quarter, right? It's kind of
yeah. I mean, the logic makes. I mean, I guess it makes sense in terms of like, look, spread it out, and maybe those people that bought stuff in July will buy it in, like new stuff as opposed to just buying it all in July.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll buy a lot in July and then buy a lot more in October. I don't know.
Yeah. Take your pick. Small business, cities, best place to open a small business. Starbucks Galaxy, we've talked about collab. Give me one. I know Eric, you got some good ones too. In here.
I was more interested in the AI.
Okay.
So here's an interesting
The Cosmopolitan cover.
the Cosmopolitan cover. So this is when I was like, uh-oh. So
Right.
Cosmopolitan commissioned this company, OpenAI, to use their genius AI Doll E2 to create an ad for the cover, or not, like the cover of the Cosmopolitan magazine, right? There was like this issue they were doing, and the AI took about 20 seconds to produce the cover image. Okay? What I thought was fascinating was how it happened, right? So they had like a creative director pretty much say, hey, here's what I want. Like they wanted to say, like, let's say what was the language she used? Oh, so she provided the prompt: wide angle shot from below of a female astronaut with an athletic feminine body walking with swagger toward the camera on Mars in an infinite universe, synthwave digital art. And this is what came up. This is what they produced.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, you
so
kidding me.
crazy.
Like, you've got to be kidding me, because we process like requests and things like that all the time.
Oh my gosh, how long would it take to make that, Eric? It would take
send it
a long
to
ass
the
time.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, so the
Well,
AI has.
you gotta get a film crew to Mars.
You gotta.
So here's the question. Right? It says it says the AI has access to over 650 million images. Okay. The question I have is, did it create this image from or did it find the image of this within that 650 million images, right, and then stitch together or whatever, or did it literally draw this or produce this?
Yeah, did it draw it in an image editing program?
Because if it can create this image, right, from its intelligence, right, like they're saying, like doing like AI created humans, right? You ever see that, like when they do like the faces, like this is a person that AI created from scratch, really.
Right.
So if they created this from scratch, then it means you could tell, like pretty much as a designer, I could tell the AI anything I wanted to have. Like I could tell them my vision and have them produce.
That's insane.
Right.
If that's the case, Eric, we're out of business.
So it says that the reason why we shouldn't worry yet is because it still needs a person to kind of co-pilot. And that's how they see it, like in terms of sorting it out. And they said it still has issues with.
You could give it shitty directions still.
Yeah.
And get shitty art.
Yeah.
Or you have no style.
But the kicker here is the 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Like I can put a request like that. I can give a request like that to a designer, right? As an art director or a creative director, you could say, here's my creative brief, here's whatever. Come back to me with something, right? And it takes them time. Best case scenario, a day or 2 days, right? To kind of really, if you wanted to rush it, a day, right? But ultimately, you want them to kind of give you kind of some thought process into it. But the fact that it did it in 20 seconds, it's like you can't. It's uncompetable, right? Like you cannot. Like there's no way to like have. I mean, if I had that tool available to me, like you just would never, you'd be able to your work, your overhead would be like just cut completely. Now, the question is what the cost of it is. I don't know, but
yeah. Can you imagine using that tool for all of our paid advertising creatives?
Oh my gosh.
Well, it would be. It would take to be. Again, it's just this is the one that really I've been kind of.
You could almost do. You could almost do it in real time with the client on the meetings then.
Yeah.
Like Dr. A, be like, oh, okay, here, how about this one? Zoop, zoop.
Well, think of the Creator Hub on Facebook, right? What if the Creator Hub had all, and this is maybe where it's going. And
that's the thing. That's the worst. It would cut us out of the middle.
It pulls your highest converting and just sort of ingredients and sticks them together, and you go, nope, I don't like it, and it shuffles it again, and it just spits out.
Yeah, it's like a roll. Yeah, it's like a ticker.
Oh,
like
tick, tick, tick,
done. Tick, 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 done. Now that's the thing. It's like, so here's like a company like a Facebook or any type of ad, company, right? Whether it's Apple ads or Facebook ads or whatever. You as the user or the advertiser just enters your request. This is what I want to see. In their thing, and then they produce the ads for you, right? So they, in essence, a Facebook would be the one that would want this AI.
Yeah,
so
totally. Cut us out.
You don't need an agency. You don't need a designer. You just be, they would have that design tool available to them. And again, we're parsing from 5 lines of text, but the reality is that they're all. I would be very. This is something very curious to me because, like, what can it produce and how authentic and original is it?
Yeah.
Because from what I'm gathering here, now this is a pretty simple. They're not. I don't know. I'm not gonna say they're hiding stuff from us, but I'm curious as to, was it just the image that they gave them, and then Osmo typeset like the headline and typeset the header there, and then the footer, right? Or did literally the robot come up with all this?
Yeah.
It seems like it's just the image. I feel like from what I'm gathering, it sounds like it's just the image that was produced.
Yeah.
But still, that's amazing. Especially if you want it to be like, it'd be like any of your clients, like, I need to have this product shot this way in this mood. Those are pretty specific instructions to give someone.
Is this magazine a collectible now?
What's that?
Is this magazine a collectible now?
Yes.
Would you buy it?
I might.
If I saw it on the street tomorrow, I'd probably buy it.
I would buy it. Yes, if I saw it on the street tomorrow, I would buy it. Will I go out of my way to buy it? Probably not.
Oh no, probably not.
But maybe I would. Maybe I should. And frame it. I mean, that's like something that's a pretty big deal to me.
Yeah.
This is like something that's been happening. I mean, so to just dig a little bit deeper because it is relevant to us. This has been kind of, okay, to give a frame of reference to audience member. Okay, yeah. I started doing this 22 years ago. 23 years ago, I graduated from college. And even so, I started even before that. So 25 years ago, right? And I was at the cusp of computers being used really in the design space. Okay, we'd only just kind of gotten into digital design tools. Okay, maybe a handful of years before that, but really, from an educational standpoint, we were on the cutting edge of using computers to do design work. Okay, prior to that, it was all.
I remember you in college. You had little 3D boxes. Okay. I don't remember how you
built that. We were still trained, traditionally, but like Mad Men stuff. Like you ever watch Mad Men stuff like that? Brad, you're interrupting.
Sorry, I just found out your answer.
Another time.
So go back to Mad Men when you see them using actual prints and like photostatic type and stuff like that, where they would layer things up and kind of do these their different comps and stuff like that, right? So we finally got into computers. But so my point being is that, as time has gone on, the designer has been kind of slowly pulled off of that process, right? And computers have taken over, right? Even so much when things like Fiverr and these companies where these designers can kind of hatchet job these things for people without the kind of context or education that goes behind it. Can a creative artist deliver something that's good? Yes, of course. Has it been thought out in the context of what the purpose is, the goals are, and really thinking about audience and those kind of things from a business perspective? Maybe not. So there's a value still to what some of us do. However, this just shows you this is the next. Again, this takes it a step further, right? It's this idea of we went, as technology advances, the designer has to shift what his purpose is. Right? It's not just about art anymore. Now it's about how do I use these tools, right? I see this as pros and cons, right? To me, it's like now I can, if it gets to the point where it's more used, I can get what's in my head on paper quicker.
Yeah,
which is really interesting, right? I'm old school pen and paper. I'll draw sketches as I need to kind of figure out what I'm thinking. But this is a way where I could skip that step and be like, hey, tick, 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 tick. Show me a person up angle. That's what's so amazing. Like these are the things that I would hold on to of what I'm reading here are wide angle shot from below, right? That's a camera angle. That's a specific, you're seeing it from below, right? As opposed to a top angle looking down, right? Which has a different kind of effect, or a side angle, or up close. These are comments of like where the camera should be positioned.
Right.
Okay. So now it goes. These are photographic kind of.
Let me share this with you guys real quick. So it's not as futuristic as we think. And our jobs are still secure. Like we're not going to lose our design jobs anytime soon. So the lady, just like you're saying, Eric, she put in the perfect prompt for this AI to find that photo. So that was a photo that it found, and then she still did some graphic design to create the Cosmopolitan cover.
Well, they placed the type, but you have found that that information somewhere. Did you see that while I was
Yeah.
talking?
Is this a
Yes.
false article, Brad?
No, it's not false.
But so the point is, she found that photo. It's nice that it was like a photo
she
search.
used the AI to find that photo. So she
I got
went through thousands of different prompts of like
Okay.
you're saying, like from below, and that sequence
All those
of
keywords.
keywords was the perfect prompt for the AI to find this
So in
photo.
essence, what she did was she went, instead of me looking through a
Yep.
stock photo library for 16 hours,
Yeah.
in 20 seconds it found the right photo and it kind of put it together with the different layers. Now, the question is, did it find the exact photo, or did it find a few different photos?
Did she choose it?
It sounds like, here, I'll share the link with you. Did I close it already? I closed it because it was.
Brad, bigger question. What chips are you crushing right now?
Some Lay's classics. They go good with whiskey.
All right.
I need some more ramen. I burned like 1,500 calories today.
Oh, wow.
Biking up.
I did that EV article. Okay, so there's an additional article that we can probably read that talks a little more about it. Anyways, point is, if that's where we're going, I think it's good, right? I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I'm not worried about losing my job because of it. I think there are applications where it will then cut into. I feel like maybe entry-level designers might have a bigger problem with it.
I hope we're retired.
What's that?
I hope we're retired when all that stuff starts.
I think we might, by the time it becomes actionable and cost-effective.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to start to see some of those tools, like, you know, it's the same deal with search tools. Like maybe like Adobe comes up with some stuff that's a little more search friendly, where it's like, hey, I need this type of photo, and it'll be more specific. Problem is, it's got to be tagged, right? I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, someone has to tag those images that are in the world with
meta tags,
data, right? Meta tags of some sort, because it can't, unless AI is that smart that it can see the photos and actually interpret what's there without having to.
There's metadata there, for sure, and it takes that graphic designer to explain that, put those keywords together. That's hard. You know, those technical words are like the wide angle.
But you don't have to be an artist. I mean, I guess that's the question. So where does the art level change? Like, where does it change from an account manager, you know, to an artist? Where an account manager, you know, I think you still have to guess. But I guess you're right. It is because you have to visualize.
Well, the artist becomes the account manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Trust me, I've worked with enough artists that can't manage the way with your bag. So it's about. I think it's an issue of they still have to be the ones coming up with the idea, because it wasn't like the prompt is. This is the kicker here. The prompt wasn't do a cover for Cosmopolitan magazine that features. You know what I mean? Like, I think it has to have. You have to have a creative mind who has to think through what those prompts are, right? And really be like, I want to see an astronaut of a woman in a female. You know, this has got in kind of putting, as you said, putting those keywords together that make so they're seeing something in their mind. Like, this is what I want to see.
Right.
Right. It's not an abstract idea. Like, it's got to be about feminine power in the future. Well, God knows what's going to come up, right? I mean, that's the thing. It takes someone to say it's got to be. I think it should be an astronaut. I think it should be. She should be walking on Mars with a very, whatever, aggressive pose and up angle.
Confident
really
stride.
You can't choose the word confident. Astronaut. Like, what's going to come up? Who knows?
Yeah.
And maybe that takes a lot longer to get to that end result. So you're right. The language does matter, and that's kind of where we come in. But it's still just. I mean, it's. So I guess again, like as we are marketers are, maybe the language used even in this article was misleading.
Yeah. Hey,
probably is.
No, but here's the big takeaway I see is that again, it's these steps that are getting closer and closer and closer to where, I mean, didn't Google's AI just start coming up with its own language or something crazy? So I agree with you guys both. I mean, I think it's this progression that eventually like what we were talking about before, you're going to be able to just say, scramble my ads and make not something new, and it's going to be able to pull your highest converting stuff together and throw it out there. Or it's going to be able to tell you what are the best topics to be writing about right now, or what are the best products you should be selling right now. I think that's where that's going to be the short-term AI. Long-term is where we're all literally sitting in our lounge chairs and AI is doing everything for us. But
yeah, what if you could create? What if you could create an AI tool that could use the Adobe suite? And you could put in a form request.
Yeah, instead of the 99 pages of images and videos to go through, right? Where it's like,
I think that's what this is. That's what this is looking. I was actually funny. I was just thinking that exact same thing, which is like, what is the? It still takes a person can't even do that. What Zach just said, which is taking multiple parts and reassembling them, right? I mean, they can, but it takes a lot of time, and you're not necessarily going to get there, right? Versus some sort of generator where it's like, kind of like what we do with NFTs, right? Which is like you have different layers, and it's like mix and match them. And I'm sure there potentially could be some software that does that, but that would be the end goal, which would be, applying that kind of tool to something with nuance, right? Really, unfortunately, it's still nuts and bolts. But to have this AI nuance, and that's why I would really like. I mean, I am going to research this deeper because I'm very curious about this, which is, how much of that image was created from scratch, versus assembled. You know what I mean, from parts.
Yeah,
that is how Skynet started. But we're way past Skynet, Randall. Like there's like what was it? The AI that. There's just we're reading stuff about AI every day. These articles are kind of getting scary.
Yeah. All right, next topic. Brad, your turn. Pick a topic. Any topic.
Gosh, let's see.
Oh, this one's speaking of AI. Sorry, I'm going to jump in. I got to jump in. I'm stealing your thunder. It's the speaking of AI though, and images, right? This is the one that's the Google engineer creates AI, the tool that identifies anonymous faces in World War II photos. So talk about clearly the AI has the ability to kind of, see things and and kind of, put two and two together. I mean, do the math, right? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, what understood is that if you had a missing loved one during World War II, you can take their photo, plug it in, and the AI will find them. Is that accurate? Is that kind of what is going on here?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I think.
And it wasn't 100. It's not super accurate, but they were very confident in how accurate it was.
Well, think about the software. It's like what can it do?
Eric, it was 83% accuracy.
83% accurate. I think it was 83% accurate. You're right.
Yeah.
83% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
So
anyways, I didn't mean to steal it, but I just saw that one. And I thought that was related to the AI kind of handling of images and and recognizing things in images, which is very.
Brad, you brought up this one too. The NFT Japanese restaurant. We all love food. We love restaurants. We love NFTs.
Just taking
None
it
of us
to
want
the
bread.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I liked is that they were creating levels of membership, right?
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
It's beautiful.
So just to explain real quick, it's a restaurant in San Francisco that's NFT access only. So you have to buy an NFT to get in to the membership to access the restaurant. I don't know how it works, if it's yearly membership or if you can go unlimited dining. I'm not sure how it works, but there's 3 different tiers: Earth, Wind, and Fire. It's all farm to table food and fresh sushi. The first level, Earth, is 1,300 members or something like that, and the cost was like starting at $7,000. The second tier was Fire, which was only 300 NFTs, so only 300 people, and I think those started around $12,000. And then the top tier, Fire, the top level, is only accessed by 10 people, 10 NFT holders, and those were $300,000 each.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. But you know how?
And those 10, so we're saying those 10 get all access to the other levels as well.
Correct, Eric.
Yeah.
That's exactly
all expense paid trip to Japan and revenue sharing.
Yeah.
So what does
How
that
do
mean?
you
That's
sustain that? How do you pay for all that? It's got to be like a yearly thing. It's got to reset every.
$7,000. Water is $15,000. Fire is $300,000. No, listen. It said, so yeah, so Earth is 7,000, water is 15,000, and fire is 300,000.
Yeah.
So it's 10 times 10, right? So that's what, $3 million right there for the NFT. So
is that per year that they're making on those, and they're hoping to sell out every year?
Well, but a lot of the NFTs, they're going to only do the trip once.
yeah,
Now, so once you use it, it's used.
Okay.
I bet you
Use
unlimited.
it, it's done.
Could be. It may be.
Sure.
Maybe they do it, but they
Well,
don't.
that defeats the whole point of the
Expensive.
membership, though. Then why do I want to buy it? I would just go eat at the fancy restaurant. It's cool if you have a membership and you can roll in there anytime you want and be like, check.
Oh yeah. It has to be a member. It has to be a membership. It has to be like the whole point. You buy the NFT and you get access.
Full membership. Yeah. But when we talk about this stuff, I think even if you did one trip to Japan a year.
Oh, wait, do the one. Okay, so let's get I mean, Jesus, all you do is get a calculator.
No,
Let's
it's in
get a
San Francisco.
It's in San Francisco. The restaurant's in San Francisco.
Yeah. No. But they have for the top 10. For the top tier is all I was
So let's
thinking.
see. So you have. Let's do this. 26.
That's your biggest expense.
Times.
Is there a
What's the number there? 26.
It's very interesting, but like, how do you put it to a business model that actually works?
Times.
They got they're getting next fall, so they got a little while.
Well, hold on. Okay, is my math crazy or wrong? If it's 2,768 people, or 2,678 people, 2,678 people times $7,000 per, that's $18 million. 18,700,000, right? Plus,
Yeah.
plus what? 300 times 15,000, 327.
So the
They're
money's
certainly
there.
paying for their
Is another 4 million, 5 million,
Huh.
plus 3 million, so 8 times what? So it's you're 20 or 30 million dollars on those NFTs, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't say whether or not other people are allowed in there or not. It just says
Look
that
at the building, though. The building looks like it costs $30 million.
yeah.
quite possibly. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's like a club, like a country club, right? You're paying. That's your payment to get access to the club, and you have to pay for your food every time you go.
I'd love to know how long the membership lasts, what kind of commissions they're making on third-party sales.
Okay, so hold on.
All
Okay,
of
so here, why doesn't this apply to like a country club model? Okay, right, a country club, which you pay an entry fee, right? You pay that bond for member access, and then you still have to pay monthly, and you still have to pay for everything you order and eat and do all that stuff there. So what if that's the case? What if it's just like, look, this $30 million in essence is paying for the restaurant. So you're an owner of the member, you're an owner in the restaurant, and you're getting
Still got to pay for dinner.
You're getting profit sharing too.
You could possibly be getting passive income, right?
When you get profit sharing at the top 10, the top 10 get profit sharing.
Yeah.
So they're getting profit sharing off of all the other people that are in there.
Pretty awesome.
Now you hope that people. I mean, it's a good. Honestly, it's like a crowdsourcing way to start your business. Really, it's like saying,
What if the Masters do, right, Eric? Like you've got the Live Tour that's taking everybody, sealing all the big golfers. What if you had something like the Masters do something like an NFT, and it's already super exclusive to get in there? But I think that would be awesome. What a cool play that would be.
Yeah, I mean that seems like that's. Watching Instagram here. Let's be a little.
Well, it's on the Whiskey River Media list of NFTs to purchase, so we'll see if we get to it.
We're going for the fire. We're on fire level. We're going for fire level. Fire or nothing.
One of the 10.
Fire or nothing.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. So okay, so if you were to do it, it would make sense as a funding apparatus to get the restaurant built.
Yep.
In essence, you're an owner of the space, and then when you come there, you buy your food, right? And there's a profit margin in the food. Zach, you know, is better than anybody in terms as far as running a restaurant, right? So whatever that 1 or 2% is, that's the profit. And as one of those top level guys, you still have to pay for your food every time you eat there. But you're getting a cut of that 1%, and it's still an operating business. So the reality is, instead of taking money from investors to build it, we're letting people invest in their own club,
which is awesome.
It's super cool, and it's in the perfect area.
The question is, if they don't get supported by those people, though, if those people don't go and eat there on a regular basis, what happens when you go out of business?
Well, in that case, then do you open it up to other people besides members?
And doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of the NFT in the first place? And what happens if they sell the NFTs? Then it doesn't matter. I guess they're just worried about the first sellout. And then if it's transferable, again, these are the things that we look at with utility. Right? What's the utility? So is it transferable? If you sell it to me, then do I become a member? I would think so, right?
And here's what I would say. Wouldn't you just have it open to the public, but NFT members get special access, preferred reservations?
You could do it that way, but that's not what they're saying. What they're saying is that only members get access to it. My point is, again, that's the risk, is that if they're not spending enough, maybe there's minimum spends and that kind of stuff like you would at a country club, right? If you're not spending enough, how do you operate? Or is because it's not an annual, and it doesn't say anything about monthly fees on top of it. Monthly operating expenses, right?
Yeah.
It was very interesting.
But that's another interesting take on NFTs, right? That we never talked about that too, which is that is it in lieu of VC? Do you use that money?
A 3-year imagine like a 3-year membership. That would allow somebody to actually go to the restaurant and enjoy it a little bit, and then sell it to somebody else that could then do the same.
Right.
And make
some money. Yeah, that's it. They don't care how many times it gets turned over, because it could be sold the day after they buy it. The reality is they're going to get a commission on that sale anyways, and they've already gotten the primary amount. So to them, maybe that's where they make their money, which is
what's 10% on $7,000? $700. Maybe pays for dinner, maybe.
It's just interesting that it still is about the operating cost for the restaurant. Now this justifies the build expense of it, right, and the startup cost. Mm-hmm. But then ultimately they still have to fund it on a consistent,
right. It's got to make money.
It's got to make money. If you only have a limited audience of 3,500 people, something like that, right?
Well, that's why if you're turning them over every couple of years, it would make more sense.
Or they have minimum spends or something like that triggers them to keep spending money there on a daily basis.
Or they don't even have to go to the restaurant, and then they just sell NFTs and they don't worry about if people show up.
Not the same thing here, but let me just say this too. So this is the 1230 Club in Nashville, Sam Fox and Justin Timberlake's concept. Mm-hmm. What they have is 3 or 4 different levels. The bottom level is for everyone, right? So it's just constant. It's cool because it's got a stage and the food's great and all that stuff, and it's the largest level. But then to go to the next level, you got to have a club membership.
Yep, that's the ticket. That's the ticket. Then that bottom level generates all the monty.
Exactly. That's all your gravy down there. And your top level people, they get the winnings on that bottom level. So they want the traffic in there. So
it's an ownership group. That's what it is.
Yeah. So anyways, that's kind of spur of thought, but time for memes to be unique. Time for memes to be unique.
That's your key to wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Here's the first one. I love this one. Worst DJ name ever.
I
mean, I love it. Yeah.
in the background, get it going there.
Yes.
DJ. I'm the worst DJ in the world.
And then now I know we were trying to get some video and stuff, so that's we're gonna try this kind of format. How to wash a frying pan. Anybody else do this in their household?
Yes, 100% every night.
Water. Tell everyone it needs to soak. Forget about it. And then you magically just puts itself away. It cleans itself and it puts itself away.
I don't know how it does that, but sometimes it's figured out a way.
Well, thank you, Amanda.
All the wives.
No. This I thought was epic. And did you guys see this?
No, what happened here? Oh, that's pretty cool.
I feel like we're born too early.
Right.
Kids.
Oh my gosh.
You guys, I mean, they really start taking it away. Nothing happens in the third level.
The seniors know how to do it. The seniors.
Go.
22, 20, 22.
Oh my gosh.
T-bone that person.
It's just awesome.
High school.
I feel like this was great. Who knows how long this will take? Yeah, we'll see how long that.
We can already hear it and feel it.
Yep. This was great.
Oh my goodness.
What's happening to that poor guy?
Yep. All right. This dude's epic. I feel like this is Brad on July 4th.
The beer bong. That's pretty impressive. The Eagles.
Yeah.
There you go.
Respect.
Oh, this is class. Hey, Jim Kelly sent this to me today. This is a real deal. Eric, could you do this?
Something to be proud of.
I don't know about that. That's pretty amazing.
I don't know, Eric, could you do this?
Coors Light.
Oh, absolutely no way.
This is like the dash.
And I'd be throwing up Miller.
Dude, how? Just the volume of
Dude, crushed it. It's 6 beers, right?
That guy's not small.
Guinness.
Starts with
Guinness.
Guinness. You gotta lay down the foundation.
He goes lighter and lighter. That's what he's trying to
do.
Dude, that just seems like that's a bad idea.
That guy is in Nebraska.
I'm gonna go with Wisconsin.
I like the Notre Dame
Yeah.
play like a team today. You know?
I like how he doesn't have to move his arm. Boom.
Yeah.
Right to the shooting stance. Boom.
Very static.
He's in shooting stance, like deliver the pass right there.
Those are Florida State drums.
You know, the bartender is almost just as impressive.
He'd slide him right down there and he's catching him. Like, that's pretty amazing.
Right into the mitt. I mean, boom, shooting stance.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's CGI.
Bud Light, CGI. All right,
I mean,
next one.
you're repping a lot. That's it. That's memes of the week.
That's memes of the week. Good. Ended on a good one. That's a good one.
I'm gonna
Video-
need to drink my whiskey rocks here in a second.
There you
Oh
go.
God!
Go.
That is
Well, thanks, guys. That was a good one. I think a good way to end out the. I'm still just impressed by that, man. Wow.
Those were the
That
days.
is.
I feel like that was the dash.
Fire too.
That was the dash.
That was impressive.
Awesome.
Okay.
Why not?
Till next time.
Second best show ever.
Okay. See you later,
Thank you,
everyone.
all of our viewer out there. Randall, you're amazing.
Thanks for
And everybody else who
for
comes
hanging
on.
out.
Randall.
Congrats.
Standing ovation, Randall. Take a bow.
To you.
Yeah.
Okay. See you next week.
Guys.